It is the In PS We Trust Game of the Year Awards. The way this works, and the way it has worked since the podcast inception, is that we each come prepared with a list of our top 5 games of the year. We will then go through that list. Whenever a game is mentioned that is on our list at any point, so it might be my number 1, Phil brings it up in number 5, we will discuss it in full and earnest right there and then, without giving away our individual scores for anyone else. And then when it comes up later in the list, it saves discussing it all over again. We will then tally up the scores at the end of that and reveal the In PS We Trust Game of the Year for 2023. Of course, we will then bring it on to any other HMs that we want to mention, as well as going into our most anticipated game of 2024. And it's always nice. This podcast is all about dunking down on people. We will end with discussing the worst game of 2023. And who knows, we may come up with a consensus. We'll have a look and see how that pans out. But first off, we always start with the youngest, and I'm going to keep that as a tradition for this. Spencer, let's go to your number 5.
Okay, thank you for that, mate. Now, this might come to everyone as a shock, but for me, I've done a lot of deliberating, thought about it, and I changed it about 20 seconds ago. My number 5, fuck me, I can't even say this, is Spider-Man 2.
Oh, Spider-Man 2 coming in at number 5.
Number 5. I really thought it'd be higher, but the more I think about it, because even after I platinumed this game, I kept playing it. Still swinging around, but ultimately, I kept playing it to abuse glitches and bugs. Because I was swinging out the map, seeing how far I could go. And there's one point you keep swinging, Peter disappears, and then the wall disappears, and then you fall to your death, and you just respawn. And that, it takes 30,000 meters of swinging. I've done it. It takes 20 minutes. It's long. But that was about it then. Ran out of shit to do. Uninstalled, and I haven't really thought about Spider-Man. The reason it's gone to 5th place, I don't think about it anymore. Whereas, like, say last year, our winner, God of War Ragnarok, always on my mind. Always on my mind. So the reason it was on my 3rd place, I bumped it down to 5th, just because I do not think about this game anymore. And it's just behind me. I'm just done with it. It's not a game that's kept my retention, let's say. And it's not a game I'll revisit.
Okay. Well, wow. Kicking off.
I know.
Strong number 5.
Yeah.
Does Spider-Man 2 appear on anybody else's list? If it does, let's pass it over to you guys. Say your piece.
Didn't make my cut at all. I love it. It's my favorite PlayStation game, but it did make my top 5. And that just proves how great this year's been, to be honest, because it is a really good game and it deserves some credit, but didn't make my top 5. And as same as Spencer, as soon as I beat it, I'm kind of been done with it. I haven't really gone back. I haven't really thought about it since I got the platinum, to be honest. Which is a shame, because I loved Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales, so yeah. But it was a good game, but didn't make my list.
No, that's fair enough. It is a massive shame. Phil, has this game appeared on your list at all?
Well, I'm sorry that, all maybe Davy's negativity has got to you boys, especially you, Spencer. I feel like you've been heavily swayed with the kind of minute issues that Davy and maybe even I've highlighted earlier that we have with this game, because it is a spectacular experience and it is actually my game of the year. It got my vote right from the start.
Wow.
I really enjoyed this game all the way. It was number 1, so I have to say it now. It did feature on my list. It is my game of the year. I did complete it. I did platinum it. It's the number 14th platinum, if you haven't heard that one. And it's the only game on my top 5 that I have actually platinumed. So I always use platinums as a mark of honor. It kind of signifies the games that I really, really enjoy. And Spider-Man 2 got it. Okay, the platinum was a relatively easy one to get, but I enjoyed getting the platinum, and I did get that platinum. So yeah, Spider-Man 2 featured on my list. It is top of my list. And I'm sorry that maybe we've negatively influenced people because we are nitpicking when we talk about Spider-Man 2. Davey, obviously, you've got a couple more gripes than me, and I did highlight a few issues with it, and it does knock it down, I suppose, from that 10 out of 10 on the previous podcast when I rated it, when I'd only had a couple of hours with it, and I was overly hyped, to maybe this sort of recency kind of review that I've given you, having that 9 out of 10 and sort of experiencing a few kind of minor things that didn't 100% work for me. So yeah, Spider-Man 2, top of my list. But But yeah, I am a bit saddened that it's got to number 5 for you, Spence, because I know you really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, I think the case is for it. I think if I'd beaten and platinumed Spider-Man 2 maybe 2 days ago, it would be my game of the year. But it's just the fact that it hasn't stayed in my mind. There's just other games that I think about so much more often and want to revisit more that I've beaten this year. And that's the only reason. Spider-Man 2 is an exceptional game. Buggy and full of glitches, which I
For
quite
you.
enjoyed. Yeah, well, for me. And it's a lot of them. But aside from that, phenomenal game, brilliant gameplay, story, combat, everything. Honestly, not to put it down, phenomenal game. I'm devastated it didn't win any awards at the Game Awards. But it is my number 5, and that's just because it hasn't kept my retention. That is the only reason.
Just to say, before we move this on, I experienced 0 bugs with this game. So I think that's a you problem. And I'm not saying that you should put it higher, but I am telling you probably need to get a new PlayStation because you get a lot more bugs than anyone else on this show.
Yeah. I do, but you also played it 3 patches later.
I didn't get any bugs, but I did really enjoy this game. I just think that there was 5 or 6 games that I preferred this year, and it just didn't quite make the cut personally. But I did really enjoy it, and I think it's a really good game. Just think 2023 has been a fucking insane year for great games, personally.
Well, guys, when it comes to Spider-Man 2, it is not on my list either, Lewis. It is not there. I think 2023 has been a year which has been absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And I think the games that I've got that I will bring to the table shortly, for me, kind of on the same lines as you, Spence, in terms of I do not think about Spider-Man 2 at all. I think when the games of the year list were shown, I didn't think it deserved to win any awards. I don't think it excelled in any particular category that put it above anything else. I thought the story was not a patch on the first game. I thought gameplay was better in every single way. Graphical level was great, sure. Presentation was superb. But does it hang with the likes of even Horizon? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's up there with that. I don't think it's up there with Returnal. I don't think it's up there with God of War Ragnarok. I think from the first party experiences, I think it's kind of middle of the pack run. And sure, that's a 9 out of 10 experience, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But that's what we get for first party now. I don't think it does anything overly special. And I was surprised that it was featured into the Game of the Year discussion from the Game Awards, because for me, it doesn't hang with the big boys that are up in that list.
I will say, sorry, just to cut you off, the only Game Award I expected them to win, the only one, because they were never winning Game of the Year.
No.
And a lot of the awards they were put forward, they'd never win. I thought Yuri Lowenthal would win Best VA.
No.
Because I thought his Venom voice was really good, and the switching of Peter and stuff throughout the progression, I thought he did a really good job.
He did, and this isn't taken away from it. And I suppose this is always the thing that we always have to preference when it comes to this or Horizon or anything. Not taking anything away from it. I think, for me, Clive's performance in FF16 should have won that award, as far as I'm concerned. That is such a good performance. Granted, I haven't played Baldur's Gate.
No.
So, you know.
And the amount of dialogue in Baldur's Gate is like
judge.
200 hours of
Yeah,
dialogue.
I can't judge. That one, and I can't say anything. So.
I've played Baldur's Gate. I'm not a huge fan of Mysteria, and I think he's a bit weird, to be perfectly honest. There's other characters. I mean, I said earlier he's not even in my party. I don't really rate him that much, so I don't. I personally wouldn't. I think I would have given it to him, or maybe the Cyberpunk. Oh, I can't remember his bloody name now. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
I would
Idris
probably give it to
Elba.
Idris Elba, or the voice actor of the year, or like just because it's Idris Elba, really. But you know, or. Yeah, well, as you said, Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah.
Well, let's move it on from that. Spider-Man looks like it's went from being probably, I think, going into this year, saying it was probably a safe bet for our Game of the Year, that it's not going to be in contention for it this year, which is absolutely shocking.
As it stands, it has 6 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll see how the rest of the list shakes up.
My number 5, I'm assuming the button's disconnected, right? If I say the name of a game I'm about to say, I'm not going to get in trouble.
It is.
My number 5 is Resident Evil 4 Remake! Yes, I love it. I really enjoyed it. Resident Evil 4. I know you guys Resident Evil 4 is not high on your list of Resident Evil games, like full stop, but it's my favorite Resident Evil, and I love the new one, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the DLC because Ada's like just mwah. And I think the game is just fantastic, and they just improved it on every way of the original, in my personal opinion, and yeah, I think it's great. And it's like I'm a massive coward and I'm not very good at survival horror games. This is one of my favorites. I really enjoyed it. It's scary enough that it's still intense, but not too scary that I can actually play it and enjoy it. So yeah, it's my number 5. Does anyone else have Resident Evil 4 Remake on their list?
I do have it on my list. I'm not going to say where it is. I think I'm not going to spoil where the games are on my list as I go through. I recommend you guys do the same, but I will say my piece about it now. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a game that I had high expectations because Capcom, as we know, they don't miss. And I went in being not a fan of Resident Evil 4 in any way, shape, or form. I think it's very middling. I think it's overrated, if anything. And that it's not even a Resident Evil game. And I came out from this being completely blown away. I thought the Resident Evil 4 Remake's one of the best Resident Evils of all time. I stand by that. I played it through on the hardest difficulty on hardcore. And I think that was maybe part of the reason why, because resources were so strict. It was very much banging the beat of the same drum that I love for Resident Evil, which is having to manage everything so closely, yet also tying it into really engaging gameplay with the knife and the melee combat and everything else. And the story of Resident Evil 4 isn't great in the original. In the remake, they added to it so much more with the lore and the files and everything else, and then they bang on top of that with Separate Ways, which absolutely kicks ass. This game this year has been a real testament to what Capcom can do now with a remake, and I honestly was blown away by it this year. Exceptional game. Definitely appears on my list.
Well, I guess I'll follow suit. It also appears on my list. I will also not say where, but more or less all the exact same points as Davey said. I think this game would have been below Spider-Man 2 for me, or until probably Separate Ways. But then also, base game alone, this now VR as well. And that's just another brand new, completely different way to play the game. It changes how the mechanics work. You can dual wield and shit. You have to parry the chainsaw yourself with the knife. That's gotta be terrifying. So this game's already brilliant. Already blew me away, and I was not a fan of the original Resident Evil 4. Not a fan at all. But they reworked it so much. Like you said, Lewis, they made it scarier. Did they? They made it darker. They didn't make it scarier. They made that first room where you enter the house and go downstairs a bit darker to make you think, ooh, this is a bit spooky. And then that's really it. The game's not scary.
Did you not feel tension?
No.
Didn't? I did.
The thing is, the fight scenes, the combat was scary because I played it on hardcore as well. And that is like, it's not scary as in the atmosphere or anything like that. You're just kind of like, shit, jump through the window, fucking reload my shit, sort it all out. That was kind of the only tension I felt. After RE7, my fear with games has kind of diluted, and I kind of just understand how games work a bit more now. So RE4 didn't really do that for me with fear, but it turned what I thought was a generic action game in the original into an actual Resident Evil experience with the remake. And I adored it for that. I had a lot of fun. I still think Separate Ways is better than the base game. But do I think it's better than the VR version of the base game? I'm yet to find out. So there's just so much in this game. It's already a 15-hour experience. Has brilliant DLC, some of the best DLC we've ever seen. And you can play the entire game in VR on the PSVR 2, which is a brilliant headset anyway. It works beautifully. So how am I not going to put it on this list? Phenomenal inclusion.
What I was going to say is that when I said it was more scary, I meant it's more like serious. It's like I love the goofy Resident Evil, like the really goofy stuff, like punching boulders and all that. But they did take some of the goofy stuff out, like a giant mech golem of the guy. I can't even remember the Napoleon guy. Like had
Salazar.
a giant mech golem in the original. Yeah, Salazar in the original. And in this one, he kind of just toned it down a bit. I feel like it was a bit more serious, but like not too serious. It was still goofy enough that I could enjoy it, and I kind of liked the tone. I felt was a bit better balanced personally. That's what I meant when it being more scary. Yeah, I know it's pretty much the same gameplay wise and all that, but I just meant that personally. Yeah, I love it. It's really, really good game. I played Separate Ways on Halloween with a pizza, and it was like a great night. Probably my favorite Halloween I've had in years. Just chilling, playing Resident Evil. I loved it. Yeah, so my number 5 for sure. Phil, did it make it to your list at all?
Well, surprise, surprise, for the ones that have noticed, I might be a fan of the series that this game comes from, because actually we can mention it because the button is off. Resident Evil 4 does make my list. And for me, exactly the same way that Davey sort of described it, I wasn't a fan of the original. I would have rated this pretty low on my list of all-time favourite Resident Evils. I know the community absolutely bangs Resident Evil 4. They froth over it, don't they? And they were really wanting this remake, and I was a little bit apprehensive, I think, to dive into this because they sold it as it becoming a darker Resident Evil, and that's kind of what I wanted from the series. And Spencer, you correctly identified they did start off that way, but it quickly jumped back into the action. But it was a game changer because they improved on every single aspect throughout the game, and for me they just elevated what was quite a good game, but really didn't fit within the Resident Evil universe. And they brought it straight back into where it needed to be with those file pickups, with all the extra lore that we got with the game. And Spence, you're completely bang on. That DLC blew me away. And like you, I thought that was the best offering that we got from this so far. I probably won't end up playing the VR. So for me, Separate Ways is going to be my favourite part of Resident Evil 4 Remake, for sure. That was absolutely an incredible experience. If anyone hasn't played that yet, please, please, please go and pick that up. Came out, I think, September this year. It was around that sort of time. So it's been out a fair bit now. You could probably get it on a bit of a discount. But Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways makes my list. And pretty high up. Not to give it away.
Well, there we go. So, speaking of lists, Phil, do you want to bring on your number 5?
Okay. Well, my number 5 probably is a game that I don't think anyone else on this podcast would have played. And I like to throw in a relatively small title within my sort of game of the years. I know I always refer to them as mini games. I always refer to them in kind of a derogatory fashion. But I think for this one, it needs to have a little bit of shine. And I'm talking about The Expanse. This is a Telltale game, and it's one of the first ones that I've played in sort of recent memory. I sort of dipped in and out with the Walking Dead when they first started to take on that IP, but I haven't returned. I don't overly enjoy these types of games, but the IP definitely for me carried this one and brought me into this universe. I was really interested to find out where Drummer came from, because this game is a prequel. It's set before the television series The Expanse, and I just loved it. I just loved every minute with it. It just expanded my whole viewpoint on the character, and for that reason it has to make my number 5 for game of the year, because of that pure experience that I got from it. But the game, it's all right, but it is hard carried by that IP, and I absolutely love The Expanse, so it had to make the list.
Really well said. I mean, the thing about it is with The Expanse, your love for it has now led to me and the missus. That's our next show we start watching.
Really?
Honest to God, yeah.
Oh my God.
We're just about finished. We're nearly up to date with Reacher. As soon as we finish that, we're on to The Expanse. And then I'm going to if I get to the point where you are with it, where you're like, you froth at the gash for it, I'll have to get a Telltale game. And
it takes a little bit for Drummer to come into it, so stick with it, because as soon as she comes into the series, it just erupts.
Okay, all right. But no, I'm really excited. I'm glad that you enjoyed your time with it so much that it made your top 5. And for me, it just adds that little bit of ray of sunshine onto the Telltale games and that kind of IP, because I love the way that they lay their games out. I love those narrative experiences. And so for me, if I enjoy the TV show, I'll definitely be joining you on The Expanse in the near future.
It's definitely one of those, isn't it? If you don't know the IP, it's not a game that would have even been on your radar, apart from the couple of weeks back, which I talked about at Spence. So it's probably not a game that would ever register with you.
No, it's definitely not. But I'm mega like hyped to see a Telltale game on the top 5 list at all. That's actually sick. Telltale haven't done much in a long time, obviously for certain reasons. But for them to come back swinging that hard, awesome to see. And it does kind of increase the hype. Maybe I might check out the show too. Again, backlog's big in games and shows and movies. But 2031, it's coming.
At it 2031, baby. Well, for my top 5, guys, I'm going a little bit different from you all. It's a game that only one other person on this podcast will have played, and it is Mini Golf VR, making my top 5. It is a game that we were recommended by Lurian, and we thought, okay, yeah, we'll check it out. And we dived in, and I've had some of the most fun I've had this entire year playing that with yourself, Spence.
Bro.
I've had so much fun. And it's one of those things that we haven't been able to play games together now for a few weeks. We've both been busy with things going on in our own lives. And I know whenever we say like, oh, can we get together? It's going to come up. Shall we play VR? And I played it with Karen the other day. I let her have a go in it, and she absolutely adored it. And it just made me feel like, God, I fucking love this game. I love it. I think about it all the time. And they're posting out like new content and new maps literally like every few days on their Twitter. And I watch like where people get these lucky shots. Like I had that one shot this year that was like totally fluked that Mini Golf shared. And it's just like all these little moments that we just burst out laughing. I've had such a fun experience playing golf in a VR setting. And just that moment where you miss a shot and and it's just so fun. It's just a joyful experience. Easily the standout that I think if anybody you want to show them VR, it's a great game because it won't make them sick. It's a fun game. You can put them in, they'll get VR immediately and they'll get the joy for it. It's a joyful experience. Easy top 5 for me. Loved it. Loved every moment of it.
Damn. I mean, look, I wanted to fit this into my top 5, but ultimately it fell short. It is my honorable mention. I'll say that now because that's fine. But what a phenomenal game. Walkabout Mini Golf. Anyone who has a PSVR 2, if you're listening, just pick it up. It is so fucking fun. We've had countless hours playing it. We're planning on getting the platinums.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's fucking solid.
It's hard. It's hard. You need to be really good at mini golf. But the thing is like we played mini golf IRL a few weeks back. We went on a double date.
Yeah.
It's helped me in actual mini golf IRL. I sweeped.
I wish I could say it helped me. It didn't.
No, it didn't. You got that dyspraxia thing going on.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
In the virtual world, you're fine.
Yeah.
But it's genuine 1-to-1 with mini golf. It just feels like you're playing mini golf with your mate. It's a class time. And if they could somehow implement a way you can get drunk at the same time, it'd be perfect. But it's just short of that. So that's why it's not a mention for me. If we could, we could crack brewskis whilst doing it. It's just hard with a PSVR 2 on your head.
Yeah.
But it's so close to an actual in real life experience of mini golf. Other than you have no body and you can fly. But other than that, you're literally just playing mini golf. It's phenomenal. And the maps, the courses, there's so many to choose from. They're all brilliant. There's DLC all the time, and they sell them for like £1.70. So cheap. And you get that course, and there's also a hard mode of the course. And there's also quests you can do on the courses, which let you get brand new clubs to use. And they could be like gothic clubs. You could have a sword on the pirate map. It's awesome. The amount of work they put into this game, and they keep doing it. Oh, I'm so glad this is on your list. Because I really want to talk about this today. I adore Walkabout Mini Golf. Phenomenal game. Really, in my heart, game of the year. In my heart.
It's not quite there. It's not quite there.
In my heart it is. My brain's telling me no, but my heart's telling me yes.
Your body.
Yeah.
Your body's telling you yeah.
If you ask me what game do you want to play, the first thing I'd say is Walkabout Mini Golf.
Yeah.
Easy. It's phenomenal. And it should be, I'm not going to lie, it's not a reason to get a PSVR 2. But Phil, it's a reason to get PSVR 2.
He'd love it.
We'd have the sickest time.
He'd love it so much.
We'd have the best time.
Audience, if you feel like clubbing together and buying Mr. Philip Hoy a VR so we can experience Walkabout Mini Golf, just send your blank checks into inpswetrust@gmail.com. Send them through somehow. and I'll make sure they get to Phil and not to buy me a new monitor. But Lewis, you got something you want to add?
Well, if Phil doesn't want the VR headset, I'll have it. If he doesn't want it, you know. Also, this is probably better than Firewall, I imagine.
Oh, yes.
You're welcome to it, Lewis. It can sit there and gather dust with your Xbox.
Oh shit! He's throwing fighting words. Okay, let's moving on from that. Let's moving on to our number 4s. Spencer, we're back round to yourself.
Shit, well, not gonna lie, we've already talked about my number 4. My number 4 is Resident Evil 4.
Oh,
Fits in the gap. Same name, same space. I mean, I adored it, like I've said. Separate ways, VR mode. Brilliant kind of adaptation from the original. Improved it in literally every single way. Capcom just don't miss, except, you know, Exoprimal. But I didn't play that, so it can't be my worst game of 2023. It can be yours. So I hope to hear that later on, so I can shit on it even more. But until then, yeah, RE4, my 4th place.
nice. Lewis, over to yourself for your number 4.
So when I'm playing my Xbox, which I play every single day, and you know, blowing the dust off my PlayStation, I'm playing a game called Hi-Fi Rush, which is absolutely incredible, and you guys are missing out on because it is awesome. I trollingly and maybe jokingly keep comparing it to God of War, because it's a hack and slash game. But me personally, I had more fun with it than God of War Ragnarok. I know it's a controversial opinion, but it's one of my favorite games of this year, hence why it's my number 4. And it's just incredible. The art style, the characters, the world, everything about it is absolutely amazing. And the fact that Xbox just went, here you go, boom, shadow drop, we're just going to just announce it and release it on the same day, is absolutely nuts. And it's actually a very, very good game. As you were saying earlier about Spider-Man not winning any awards, the fact that Hi-Fi Rush actually won an award at the Game Awards made me so happy, because I was like, that game really deserves some credit, because I feel like because it came out in January, it kind of got lost in the shuffle. If you ever do pick up an Xbox, or if you have a decent PC, check out Hi-Fi Rush. It's incredible. I have a feeling that none of you guys have played it, though. I imagine.
I haven't played it, however, really want to. And everything I've seen about it, I know I'd love it. But it's just one of those experiences that I haven't got to. So if Xbox keep going the way they've had, and they've had a great year this year, if they continue that momentum going into next year now, into 2024, and we get a few more experiences that make it worth me buying the box, hey, that's something I'll get on the background. I would say I could just play it on PC Game Pass, but I'm not a PC nerd. And I don't know how to even switch it onto game mode. I don't know what you do.
You don't...
Control G. That's it. Bring on the Xbox panel, right? Fuck knows. Fuck off, PC. I'll eventually play it on Xbox when they release enough good games that take my fancy. But we'll see what 2024 brings to the table. Phil, your number 4, my friend.
Okie doke. My number 4. And I kind of hope this might feature on your list, because you guys have played this game a lot more than me. But it features on my list, sort of coming in just over the expanse, and this game is Street Fighter 6. This came out, of course, the 2nd of June, and this is an ongoing game for myself. I dip in very sparingly these days, but it is one of those games that I hope to return to once we get a bit more momentum, and maybe when you guys come around and we have that night out in Bristol, we can come back and have a few sets in the world of Street Fighter 6, because I feel like a lot's changed since we last played it. Now, Street Fighter 6, this is probably the most accessible Street Fighter game out there. The things that Capcom have implemented within Street Fighter 6 is very welcoming to newcomers. Okay, yes, if you jump into ranked, you're gonna get crushed, but there's lots of systems in the game which I appreciate, which I haven't fully taken advantage of, but I could see for newer players, this is an open arm from Capcom. They're saying, come, play in our open world. Come to our fighting hub. Learn about the world of Street Fighter. And I could imagine, I don't have the analytics in front of me, I don't have the numbers, but I'd imagine this is one of their most popular titles currently. All right, I think this is a big step forward for Street Fighter. And as I said, it's come in now at my number 4, and I really want to just give it that little bit of shine, and it is a game that I do want to return to further down the line.
Really well said. Street Fighter 6 does appear in my list somewhere. It is the best Street Fighter ever made. in my opinion. I think it's the best fighting game ever made as well. I'm going to still stand by that all this time later. It's my most played game on PlayStation 5 this year. Easy, clock's way above everything else. And it's a game that I feel that my own determination with YouTube this year has got in the way of. If I was not focused on growing my YouTube channel this year, I would have fucking thousands of hours clocked up in this. I know I would. I'd be going to tournaments. It'd be taking over my life just the same way that Smash Bros did. But I haven't let it. I've kept it. It's like, you know when you get a really thirsty bird and she's keen and you pipe her, she's good. She's great even. But you think, if I keep her going, she's gonna baby trap me. And I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life, right? I'm stuck with this bird who, she's not the cleanest, she's not the best looking, but she sucks a good dick, right? I'd be stuck with that. And so I haven't let myself walk down that road with Street Fighter 6. And that is my analogy for it. So I adore it. I absolutely adore it. Won't let it get its hooks in me to the fullest extent that it could do.
Damn. Well, I'll tell you what, as a shocker to everyone, it's on my list too. What a surprise. Again, won't say where. Cammy, baby. I know exactly what you mean. Obviously, I'm not on a content grind or anything other than this podcast, but I've just not given it the time it deserves. It is still my most played game on the PS5, as it was for you, Davey. But it's just perfect, man. Like you said, we said it at the time, just after we briefly played it. It's the best fighting game ever made. The best Street Fighter by far. It's perfect. It looks beautiful. Other than that one map, which I just can't stand, because if you jump, it all bugs out. Other than that, it's literally just a perfect game. The roadmap's working fine. All the DLC's coming out appropriately. Patches, they're quick on the patches. Rashid was broken, fixed 2 days later. They are smashing it, Capcom. As soon as the tournaments are a bit better, took them a while to fix that. They're working now, but they're at terrible times. All that aside, all the mechanics in this game, the drive rushes, drive impacts, the parries, just the neutral and the fundies. Oh, it's the best fighting game ever. It has to feature on my list because I love fighting games. I'm sure same for you and Phil. It's just perfect. It's a perfect game. So it is on my list somewhere. Won't say where, but damn, what a game.
It did not make my list, unfortunately, but it's because I bought it on PS5 to play it with you guys, and then you never played it with me. So, yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Lewis, you're breaking my heart, dude.
I played it with you. I played it with you when you got it early. I was literally like, your screen.
Oh yeah, you watched me playing, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching you play your World Tour, mate.
it's because you never boot up the PlayStation 5.
You're never on, mate.
That's true.
If you booted it, I may send
It's
you
true,
a
it is
message
covered
saying,
in
"Hey, do you
dust,
wanna
to be
play
fair.
some?" There you go. Says more about the hygiene of your room, I think, more than your PS5, mate. But we'll leave that there. We'll leave that there for the moment. Okay, so we are back round to myself, and we are looking at my number 4 now. My top 5 this year, I got so many games that could make this top 5. Honestly, honest to God, my list is ridiculous, and I've been debating this list now for about 3 weeks. Reason why this episode's late going up is because I wanted to see if I could experience everything. And I just haven't been able to. My number 4 this year, and it saddens me to put this here because I think it should be higher, but I can't put it anywhere else, is Dead Space Remake.
Ooh.
Dead Space Remake coming in at my number 4. Dead Space Remake is a perfect game. It's a 10 out of 10 experience. And every game I've got here above, I think the only reason why it's here is because it is such a faithful remake to Dead Space that I can't put it any higher. If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. It's not inventive. It's not.
No, it improves upon the original in every single way. Graphics better gameplay systems, deeper systems.
But it's an existing game.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel the games I've got higher up on the list do more with what they provide than Dead Space Remake is. And that's the only reason why it's in my number 4. I rated this at the time that it was a 10 out of 10. I stand by it. I think about it pretty much fucking daily.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to run it again. but it's just the fact of what it is by nature that holds it back from being higher on my list, and that's the only reason why I've put it there. Does it appear on anybody else's list?
It doesn't make it on my list, but I wanted to say that it's the same thing with Metroid Prime remake. It's like I thought that game was incredible, but because it was a remake, I didn't want to include it in my top 5, even though that's a 10 out of 10 game as well, in my opinion, and a masterpiece. So I get what you're saying completely. But no, I need to play it. It's on my list. Again, backlog. Definitely need to play it though. It looks awesome.
It would make you shit your pants.
Yeah, you can't play it.
I don't think you should play it.
You shouldn't play it.
No. It'd be too scary for you, mate. Honest to God. It's terrifying.
Probably right. I mean, I beat the second one, but yeah.
Oh, fair play. If you beat the second one, yeah, you should be fine, I think. It's a bit more gory, because obviously it's higher graphics, higher fidelity. But if you've played the second one through, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
But it makes my list. Shocker. I'm not going to say where, but as you've said, man, it's a perfect game. It's Dead Space. It's so sick. I can't really say much more than you have. It's just an improvement on the original in every way, which was already not a perfect game. Tell you what, it's not a perfect game.
Well,
Only because there's a more perfect game, which is Dead Space 2.
yes.
So that is it.
Yeah.
It can't be a perfect game because there is a better game, which is just the sequel of itself. But if they remake Dead Space 2, which I hope they do, that will be the perfect game if they do it to this caliber. But that aside, this game, I think about it every damn day, every single day. I just bought a figure. I've got a little Isaac Clarke figure from Dead Space Remake in my corner, and he is beautiful holding his little plasma car. I adore Dead Space. It makes my list. Won't say where, but fuck me, I can't wait to revisit it. I can't wait for whenever I can.
Time.
Yeah,
Time.
long.
So Dead Space doesn't actually make my list, and it couldn't make my list because unfortunately I haven't played it yet. It is on my backlog, and it is very high on that backlog because of the glowing reviews that I get from yourselves. And I've just checked it out on Amazon. It is in one of my wish lists, and it's $27.99, so it is tempting me to the dark side. And I do feel like this game is for me. I do feel like this would be a good way of me jumping into Dead Space because I've played none of the previous titles on the PS3, so it'd be great to sort of dive in to the best version of Dead Space on PS5 and experience it fresh, and then maybe it would deserve a place on my list if I played it this year.
Speaking of going to the dark side, it is also available on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, go check it out if you really want to play it.
100%. If you got a chance to play it for free, why not go for it? Why not go for it? We're moving on up. So we are at our number 3s. Spence, the rotation begins anew. Lay us on number 3. We're getting up there now.
Okay, so for my number 3, and this actually really hurts my heart. Not my brain, it hurts my heart to put this here, because I adore this game. So innovative in the way it works. We Were Here Forever is my number 3 game.
Oh.
What a fantastic game. We Were Here Forever is a co-op puzzle game where you both play as two kind of stranded... what are you?
Explorers. Arctic explorers, right?
Arctic explorers, yeah. And you go to a castle and you just have to solve puzzles to get to the end. And the way it works, we've played all the We Were Here's at this point. I got you into the series.
You did.
Fuck, it's such a phenomenal series. And then this game was actually pushed by PlayStation. The first trailer for We Were Here Forever was on the PlayStation YouTube account. I'm not sure if they really helped them with the game. I don't think they did. But there's a bit of a partnership going on there. And this is the first one to have that kind of... It's not a AAA game, but it has the AAA polish. Kind of. But it's just... The story is finally up to par with the puzzles, I think, in this game. With the cutscenes, the way they work. The puzzles are the main thing. And this is the best puzzles we've ever had in this game. And it's just phenomenal. And it's actually like, the ending is always sad. The ending's always devastated. And it's always like, oh, you.
I tell you what, I always think about in this game, there's a puzzle where you're under the water and there's a creature that's speaking to you, right? In this weird language. And you've got to try, and only one person can hear this creature. And so the other person's got to be able to phonetically say what he's saying so the other person can match it to symbols. And it's like the hardest thing ever to do. So the creature's like, ooh, and you're like, okay, was that a ooh or was that a ooh? And then you're like, oh, actually, it was a bit more like ooh, and you're like,
bit more like,
ooh. Hold on, that's different from ooh. Like
That's a different symbol.
yeah. Well, hold on, and it's that for like 8 hours.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's excellent, honestly, excellent. Unfortunately, it didn't make my list this year.
Damn, did it
It
not?
didn't, and it's a HM for me. A truly amazing experience, and as you said, the best they've done so far. And if this is what they've done now, we got the Friendship, obviously, which came out this year as well.
Expeditions, yeah.
So we got more of that content to come. If this is the benchmark now, if we were here forever, they've got a hard bar to pass because this was truly
Well,
special.
we've played Expeditions, and Expeditions had, I would say, some even better puzzles.
Great. It just needed the length, didn't it?
It was like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Is the issue of Expeditions, but that's a 3-part series I think they're doing, or maybe even more. So yeah, if this is the level, just
Keep
wait.
doing.
Everyone play We Were Here. I've said it so many times on this show. Play We Were Here. They are such a phenomenal series, and honestly, it's just like a little group of devs working on these games, and they are smashing it every time. So fucking good. I wish I could put this my number one. Damn. But yeah, phenomenal game. Honestly, everyone play it. I don't think either of you have tried the series of games, have you?
No, I haven't, unfortunately, but it sounds interesting. I'll have. What was it called again? Just so I can look it up.
We Were Here, mate. We Were Here.
We Were Here. I'll definitely have a look into it because I love a good puzzle game, so I will check it out if I get a chance. I'll add it to the backlog.
I haven't either, but I did download the free version of it on my Steam Deck, so I am looking for that companion, Lewis. So if you do want to jump on Steam and play through one of those games, maybe we can link up.
Look at this. Making
Sounds
friendships
lovely.
across the pond, isn't it? PC to Xbox. Oh, that's lovely.
That's the
isn't it?
olive branch
It is.
after
Yeah,
my
yeah.
comment earlier.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Lewis, let's move it on to yourself. Let's get your number 3.
Right. So, if anyone's a fan of X Marks the Box and they've listened to my top 5 games of the year, they will have noticed that my number 5 was not Resident Evil 4. It was something else. That game was shot right up my list and it is now my number 3. It is Baldur's Gate 3. Brilliant game. I can see why it won Game of the Year on the Game Awards. It's phenomenal. I don't really like these type of games normally, CRPGs as they call them, but I really enjoyed it. Well, I haven't finished it yet, but from what I've played, I've really enjoyed it. I've played it ever since the Game Awards came out. I like all the characters. I think the writing's phenomenal. I think the plot's great. I think the mechanics they've implemented is fantastic. If you're into D&D at all, it's like a good or if you're interested in getting into D&D, it's a good gateway and shows you how the D&D world works because it's very D&D style. But yeah, I could see why it's won all the Game Awards. It possibly could be even higher on my list if I played it a bit more, but at the moment it's gone from my number 5 to my number 3 within a matter of 2 weeks because I'm loving it at the moment. It's really fun. So I don't think any of you guys have really Spencer, you said you played a little bit. What did it make it to any of your lists at all? Or
It hasn't made my list. I can see it, obviously, if I put more time into it. I'd only played it for that 2 or 3 hours. And as you said, it's exceptional. It's really good. The ingenuity, the creativeness of this game. You can really go about everything in so many different ways and just hope for the best with your dice. But it's just really, it is really something special. And if I had put the time into it, I think it would make my list. But kind of similar to Dead Space with Phil, as I haven't, it's just not there for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. This year, there's too many good games, too many great games, and I'm hoping that in our HMs or anything like that we can start putting a bit of shine on some of these because too many to count. Baldur's Gate definitely on my list to play. I know I'll enjoy it. It's a game that I definitely will enjoy. Time is the mistress that just keeps on cracking that whip. And I do not have enough time for it. So I'm just saying, please, baby, no more whips. No more. I can't take it anymore. Using my safe words and moving on up. So, Phil, let's move it on to yourself. Let's get your number 3.
I haven't actually played Baldur's Gate either. You never asked me.
Oh, I knew. Definitely not your kind of
the
game,
second
mate.
time. Just, what do you mean?
Definitely not your kind of game. I can't see.
Maybe if you ask me, you'd know.
Have you played it?
Surprise, surprise, I haven't played this game, and that's why it doesn't make my list. But it doesn't win video game awards, and the vast majority of the video game awards, without being a stellar experience. And that's why I would like to get it on my Steam Deck, because I do want to play this game. So,
Oh,
I would,
he
I
does.
would like to.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
I played it on Xbox, but I would recommend probably playing it on PC because the controllers are a bit clunky when it comes to like playing on a controller. So I imagine PC or Steam Deck would probably be the best way of playing it, to be perfectly honest. So yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, after that snafu where I forgot to ask Phil, can I take your number 3, please?
Lewis has been on the podcast 5 minutes, and he's already jumped above me. This doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel good, guys. This doesn't feel good.
He's gone for a week in East Fence. He's gone
He's
for a
gone.
week, and we just kind of forget then. We just kind of forget. Sorry, Daddy.
Here we go.
Ooh.
No pocket money for you, boys. My number 3, and again, I don't think it's a game that any of you boys would have played because it is a game that relates a lot to me. It's a game series that I have loved, and I've played every single one of these games, and we are talking about Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. I was only talking about it earlier. It's a stellar experience, and this game has just got better and better and better. I have loved seeing it come back, and it's come back in a big way. This is the highest selling entry in the series. Now, it's no surprise to me that it is, because again, it is the most accessible version of Armored Core. Armored Core, as I talked about earlier, it's a lot like diving into an Excel document where you work out X, Y, and Z. Now, there is some of that within this game, but it very much holds your hands compared to previous games where you would just be completely lost and you wouldn't know what to do. I think in this one, it does help you. So I appreciate that help, because I need that help at the moment, because as I spoke about earlier, those bosses are kicking my ass. But that has come in at my number 3. I haven't downgraded it because it is a super hard game. This is a challenging game, and I will complete it. So maybe when we talk about Game of the Year next year, I can tell everybody I've spent all that year learning about all these bosses, and I have finally completed Armored Core 6. It takes me a long time to complete games. But yeah, this one for me comes in at number 3. I don't know if any of you have actually played this game. I know you guys in the middle, you do love a FromSoft game.
I've played it a little bit. I've only not played it much, but I only played it for like an hour or so. But it was good from what I played. It's again, too many great games this year. I need to play it more. I will get back to it. I promise. I played it a little bit. And I enjoyed from what I played of it.
I'm going to say the same thing I've said all year. This game's for virgins and nerds, and I refuse to play it. Armored Core's always been shit, and even if this one, people say it bangs now, I don't believe you. I think that people are so far up FromSoft's arse, myself included, but I've come from the other side, where I saw what FromSoft used to do with Armored Core, and I guarantee you, it ain't for me. I know it isn't for me. I know it 100%. In my blood, my bone marrow is screaming at me saying, no. If you cross this path, the next thing you're doing is watching some more Gundam bollocks. And I refuse to cross that line, Phil. I refuse to do it, mate.
I feel as if I'm being targeted here. You've locked on and you're pressing the shoulder buttons as you blast me. And it hurts, mate. It hurts. I'm taking all this very personally. But let me come back to you. Let me try and convince you that Armored Core is for you, because you are a FromSofter. And FromSoft, they are famous for a few things within video games: story, atmosphere, level design, and those crushing bosses. Now, 3 out of those 4, it definitely has. Level design, it definitely does not have, because they're mainly just big open arenas, which are kind of a little shoddy. They're pretty much just PS2 levels, but everything else is on that higher echelon. I promise you, if you do get to experience one of those bosses, or even if you just YouTube one of them, because I need some help at the moment, maybe you can give me some pointers on how to defeat FromSoft bosses. I promise you, they are on that higher echelon.
I'll take it into consideration. Spence, I don't know if you got any thoughts on this.
I mean, I tell you what, I like mechs and shit. I mean, I've got a Gurren Lagann tattoo, which is all about mechs.
He's fucking kept this quiet, hasn't he?
But
He's kept this quiet for 82 fucking episodes of the podcast.
I've had a tattoo from
Next
a
thing
mech
he'd be
show.
telling us, he's going to play Space Marine 2.
When it comes out, we'll see.
Don't believe
I've
in
had a mech
yourself.
tattoo
Believe
since I
in
was
the
16.
me that believes in you, Svens.
Damn straight, Lewis. Damn straight. Quote
Yeah.
from Gurren Lagann.
Great-
Thank
great
you, mate.
show.
Appreciate that.
Great
but
fucking show.
the reason It's a phenomenal show. It's on ITV. It's mad. The reason I haven't played Armored Core is not because it's a game for virgins, because I don't think it is. The reason I haven't played is because I have 2 friends that keep telling me to play this game. And they play the wettest games. I refuse. Every single game they play, I'm like, I fucking hate that game. So it's just to the point where any recommendation from them, I know to avoid. So I'm steering clear. I love FromSoft, adore them, but I'll play their more, I'll play their good games. I'll steer clear from Armored Core. It's just this whole flying about mech game. I like mech anime. I'm not a fan of mech. Actually, I like one mech anime. That's it. I'm not a big fan of. I haven't seen Evangelion, but I bet it's great.
It's good.
Yeah,
It is good.
I'm sure it's great. I've got 2 Evangelion tops. I've never seen the show, but I'm maybe one day when my virginity grows back.
2031.
2031 is the year. Fires of Rubicon. It's 2031. But for now, I'm steering clear. There's so many big games. I just can't. I don't have the time. But I'm glad to see it on your list, Phil. 'Cause
And me.
I think it's a big game and it deserves the praise.
My number 3, guys, is a game that we've already spoken about. It is Street Fighter 6, coming in at my number 3. I've already splurged my load all over this. I don't think it's too much more to say. Best fighting game ever made, 100%. Only reason it's not higher is because it is just a fighting game. And it's the same way I talked about puzzles before in the past. You can only do so much, right? I'm not in Street Fighter for the story. That fucking World Tour mode is shit, as far as I'm concerned. Fucking total waste of my time. I'm in there for ranked. I'm in there for the lab. I'm in there for casual games. And that's what a fighting game is. They've delivered that. Comes in at my number 3. Amazing, amazing game. Anyone got any final thoughts on Street Fighter, or are we happy to move on?
Move on.
Coming in then for our number 2s, baby. Really get out there. Spence, back round to you.
Sound. I'm glad we moved on. So my number 2 is Street Fighter 6. What a perfect game. The best fighting game ever made. I could talk about this all day. I'm glad we moved it on, man. What a sick game. Cammy looking fire. The costumes they keep bringing out. Oh, they just get better and better every time. I mean, we've seen one set of costumes, but they are great. Great. I can't wait to see the next. We saw Mecha Ryu. Granted, different game, but I'm sure he's going to come in. Street Fighter 6 is phenomenal. We've just got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles added in as your avatar if you want. For some reason, there's a lot there. But as Davey said, World Tour's gash. Bin it off. Unless you're a casual player and you enjoy that, fair enough. It's all about the casual games with your boys and a few points. And that's what I'm trying to get. So Street Fighter 6, number 2, easy. Honestly, it was in contention for my number 1.
Oh, wow.
It's a perfect game.
Yeah.
It's a perfect fighting game. It's just, if the tournaments happened all day and you could just enter and once it was full, it started, brilliant. But this tournament system it has lets it down a little bit. But ultimately, the way the gameplay functions, it's just a perfect fighting game. There's just one game that came ahead, and that is it.
Ooh. Well, Lewis, over to your number 2.
Oh, this is going to be fun. This is the greatest 7 out of 10 of all time. Starfield, baby! Xbox! Yeah! No, but seriously, I love this game. I've played so many fucking hours into this game. I don't care that there's a load of haters online. I don't understand why I guess all this hate, because I think it's a really fucking great game. And I love it. I did give it a 10 out of 10 initially, and I know you guys always picked up on that, but I have reduced it down to a 9 out of 10 because I did have one game-breaking bug that completely annoyed me. But apart from that, been great. Love the side quests, love the companions, love the world, love building ships. Just everything about it, I just adore it. As I said earlier on in the podcast, I'm a sci-fi nut. I prefer science fiction to like fantasy. So this is like I loved Skyrim, but this is like more for me. This is like sci-fi Skyrim, which I'm totally cool with.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Starfield on this podcast, even though it is a exclusive sort of Xbox and PC game. And I don't want to continue that narrative, okay? I want to twist that around. We've got you on the show for a reason, so this is your platform, okay? I've not heard any of the rumors. I've not heard any of the bad stuff that's going on Twitter. I've not heard any of 7 out of 10s. I don't read IGN. Sell me Starfield. I'm walking into that shop. What is this game? Describe it for me, Lewis.
All right,
Sell me
okay.
it. Tell me the highs. That's all I want to know.
It is
Make me buy it.
Okay, it is one of the most ambitious games ever made. It might not hit those targets, but it is extremely ambitious. It is tried to. It is. If you love storytelling, it's got a great main plot, main story. The cast is brilliant. I love all the like the side characters you can have and all the companions you can have. Like Anija, I can never pronounce her bloody name. She's fantastic. she's my companion in there. But even Barrett and Samco are really good as well. And I'm tempted to go gay for those guys because they're great. I love space. I love, like building spaceships in that game is it's just fun. I could spend hours just building spaceships. For someone who loves like Death Stranding and stuff, you guys, I love the barren lands of just exploring like an open wasteland. I think that's just so much. I enjoy that. I kind of find it kind of zen, and it chills me out. And I love just finding a random planet and just exploring it and finding all the like the fauna and like all the like plants and all the like animals and stuff. And I just love that. And I just think it's a brilliant game. Honestly, I think if it came out any other year, this would be my number one with like without a doubt. I absolutely love it, and it makes me sad that it's kind of like a toxic thing in the community to, well, just in general. We say the word Starfield and you're going to get a load of either hate or hate comments or like positive comments, like no matter what. It's very polarizing. It kind of makes me upset because I think it's a great game. Honestly.
Well, this was your chance to silence the haters, and I think you did a very good job. Well said, Lewis. I think you've just made another sale.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I love it personally, and it's my number 2. So, anyone else played it or even?
Fuck no.
I was gonna say, I think it had a different name, but I loved it back 2011. I think
Yes,
it came out.
Skyrim.
Skyrim, yeah,
Skyrim,
11th
yeah.
of November 2011. I first played it. Brilliant
there we
game. Yeah.
Lewis, you know that you say about it being like
It is.
tearing people apart when they talk about it. Imagine us when we get you on and you badmouth The Last of Us Part 2 every single time. This is
I was about to
your
say, you're part of the polarizing party, mate, with PlayStation.
yeah.
You reap what you sow,
Yes,
brother.
you do. You talk all that shit about Ellie and Abby, and then it's coming back to bite you in the arse with Space Skyrim. But I'm glad that it made your number 2. I know that you really enjoyed it, and there are a very vocal part of the player base that did enjoy it. So happy for you guys. I have not played it, mainly because it's just been a stacked year. There's too many great games that have demanded my attention, and I haven't been able to fit them all in. And there's games that will come up in my HMs, which are part of that problem. So that is why I have not played it, and that's really the only reason. Phil, let's move it on to your number 2.
Well, this is a simple one for me because I've already said it. This is the one that I didn't mention. This is Resident Evil 4, comes in at my number 2. It was a bit of a coin flip kind of situation between Spider-Man 2 and RE4 for that top spot. But I think maybe recency bias did bring that Spider-Man 2 up to that top spot. And of course, I did get the platinum in that game. I'm yet to achieve the platinum in Resident Evil 4. But we've said everything. We've given it a glowing review. It is a spectacular game. DLC is incredible. So that comes in at my number 2 to round out my full top 5 of 2023.
Lovely list.
Lovely.
My number 2, Resident Evil 4.
Hey.
Coming in super, super high. I mean, what more is there to say? We've absolutely gone over it to death. Really well done, Capcom. You've absolutely killed it this year. Great job. And now, with that, we move on to the top spots. We already know Phil's top spot, but the rest of them are all up in the air. What could they possibly be? Spencer, lay on your best game of 2023.
Well, keen listeners will know because we've already talked about it, and you should be grateful for this. My number 1 game of the year is Dead Space Remake.
Oh, nice.
Just because it's the only game where every damn day I can't stop thinking about it. And I lent it to my friend and friend of the show, Joseph Thomas. And as soon as I lent it to him, I've regretted it. So I've been like, I want to play it again. I want to play it again. There's so many games to play, and I want to fuck them all off and just keep playing Dead Space. It is a perfect game. The only game that will ever exceed it is Dead Space 2. At least for a game of the year, anyway. It's probably in my top 5 games of all time, but I don't know where yet. I haven't thought about it, but it's just a phenomenal experience. It's kind of like gut wrenching, some of the scenes, especially that that one scene, the one bang. Oh, so sick. It's just the accessibility in the game as well. The fact that if you are a bit scared, like we said to you, Lewis, you shouldn't play it if you're scared. It's got a gore filter. So like there are some scenes that are like really disgusting to look at. You can censor them so that they'll still happen, but there's kind of like a screen over it. So it's just not as scary, spooky, not as,
visceral.
Not as visceral. Because this is there's a gun that, if you don't know, blows the skin off of fucking necromorphs. Blows the skin, shoot him again, blows the muscle off. Oh, it's so sick. It's an awesome game, a brilliant survival horror, and a game that I honestly thought we would never see again.
I mean,
so the fact that it's returned to this scale, it has to be my number 1. I was deliberating a little bit, but honestly not a lot. It's an amazing game, but we've talked about it already, so I won't talk about it too much more. It's just my number 1, and it's not really up for contention.
Yeah, I think if I'd gone with just, when I look back over this generation, when we cross this generation, what games will I be putting it in like a top 5? It hit up there.
Yeah.
It definitely will, because it should, as you said, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's fucking perfect. My own rules have held it back this year. But
Your own morals.
My own moral code.
Fool.
What
a great game. Lewis, let's bring it on to your number 1.
Ooh, wow. Okay, so this is a game that no one's mentioned so far. It is a game that is not on PlayStation, it is not on Xbox, it is even not on PC. It is my favorite game of all time, and that is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I know you guys weren't really fans of Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom basically gets Breath of the Wild and makes it a completely inferior game and makes it obsolete because it improves on it in every single way. I absolutely adore this game, and I love it so much, and just building vehicles and exploring the world and going into the depths and into the higher grounds, and just everything about it is just brilliant. I fucking love it. I'm upset because I kind of done everything in it and I got nothing else to do with it. I want to play more of it. There's no New Game Plus and there's no like DLC planned, which bums me out, but that game is so fucking good. I don't know if I don't think it's going to be in anyone else's. Well, it's not going to be in anyone else's list because I already kind of know. Well, maybe I don't know. Anyone else played it?
Yes. So I've put about 30 odd hours into it, and I adore it. I remember when I spoke about it when I came back from my cruise, right, where I took it away and played it, and I said 10 out of 10, easy 10 out of 10. I loved it. As you said, I didn't enjoy Breath of the Wild. I thought Breath of the Wild was actually pretty shit. I thought it was way overrated. I didn't think it really did anything too revolutionary. I don't see why everyone was like sucking it off. I honestly just did not get it. I thought that Horizon was a much better game that same year when it came out, which I know is like a really divisive opinion. But I think the Horizon had a lot more originality put into it than Breath of the Wild did. Anywho, I played Zelda this year, and for those 30 hours, I could not stop playing it. I adored it. It does not make my top 5, and the only reason why is that since I got home from holiday, I haven't picked the Switch back up to play it. I don't know why that is. I love it. And every now and again, it comes to my mind, I think, oh, I should really finish that game. But because I haven't had the drive to do it, I haven't put it in my top 5, because every other game I've got on here, I want to play more, and I have actively gone back and played more of. And Zelda has not done that. It's sat in my son's Switch. In fact, it's actually just back in the case we're playing Mario Odyssey right now. And Mario, whatever the new one is. Wonder, playing that at the moment. That's fine. Yeah, it doesn't quite make it for me. Absolutely stellar game, and I'm glad it got into your top 5 and made your number 1. Great choice.
I'll tell you what, I have something to say about Tears of the Kingdom.
Go on.
I played a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom, only about 3 hours, and I put it away, thought, oh, it's just Breath of the Wild, with creativity. And I fucking hate creativity in video games. I've said it before. I'm not. I like linear games. I like someone saying, do this, and I'll say, okay, I'll do it. But that being said, I then sold my Switch. I still have my copy of Tears of the Kingdom, but I sold my Switch, so I cannot play it anymore. And I was gutted because I love watching speedruns of Breath of the Wild. So I watched a full playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom so I could then watch the speedrun videos. I was a fucking idiot selling my Switch because as soon as I watched a playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, I thought, fuck, I have missed out on a masterpiece. Tears of the Kingdom, if you had finished it, would probably be number 1 on your list.
I think it probably would be. I think it probably
Everything
would
I've
be.
seen, it is beautiful. The gameplay is amazing. The story is perfect. It is a phenomenal game. And honestly, after I watched it, I thought about buying a Switch to play it.
Wow.
It's that fucking good.
It really is. It really is. It's insane. It's insanely good. I just wish I had the drive to play it, and
Yeah.
I don't.
If you, mate, play the game, because when I said that, I got emotional.
You did. I could feel it.
Yeah.
You got,
Bro.
you got a little bit erect though at the same time.
No, I got a bit teary-eyed, bro.
Oh yeah.
The game's, it's in my honorable mentions. I've played 3 hours of the game. It's in my honorable mentions because of that playthrough. It is phenomenal.
Really is. Really is. Lewis, did you make a big Nazi bomber or did you not? Because that's one of the first things I tried to make.
No, I made the Green Goblins, like hobgoblin, like glider that everyone's been making. You get like
sick.
Nice.
two fans and a platform, and you just fly around with that. God, that game is so fucking good. I was gonna
What's
say
that
like
say about
my
you?
top 3 games, like basically only the top 3 games this year. I like the games that I've literally played, like can't stop thinking about. I played till like 6 o'clock in the morning. This is like one of those games that I adore, and I will. As I said, it's my favorite game of all time already, which is kind of crazy to say. I after playing it for like literally like 4 or 5 hours, I'm like, yep, this is my favorite game of all time, and there's no way that anything's gonna beat it this year. And I was right, because definitely did.
When you know, don't you? When you jump into an experience and it just jumps to the top of your list and your all-time list, you just know that instant when you're in there. Because I had the same kind of revelation when I was playing Death Stranding, that this was gonna be my game of the year and my game of forever up until this point. But I do think with Zelda, unfortunately, I haven't played it. That's my admission, and I haven't played a Zelda game since Link to the Past. Zelda kind of got inherited to my brother while we were growing up, and he played like Ocarina and Wind Waker and those games, and I was always more of a spectator in the Zelda days. So unfortunately, I haven't played it, but it sounds like I'm missing out on a stellar experience, and it would be one maybe that I could actually buy that game off you, Spence, if you got that spare game going, because I still have a Switch.
You can, mate. Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk after the show.
Moving on from that one then. Phil, we've already got your number 1, so we can move straight on past Spidey 2, and we can end on my number 1. And my number 1 should be no surprise to any listener, because I banged on about it so fucking much this year. It's Final Fantasy 16, coming in at my number 1. If you like shonen anime, play Final Fantasy 16. If you like an action game that's like kind of Devil May Cry-ish combat with over-the-top stuff all the time, play Final Fantasy 16. If you like an enjoyable little cast of characters that follow you for an entire journey that you will just come to fucking adore, play Final Fantasy 16. It's not like any other Final Fantasy game ever. If you don't like Final Fantasy, you'll probably like Final Fantasy 16. That's about as much as I can say about it. It's fucking insane. The stuff that I've seen from this game this year blows any other spectacle I've ever seen for any other game ever in my entire life. There's moments in this that are higher heights than anything I've ever seen. Unfortunately, what takes it down a notch from being up there with the likes of, say, God of War Ragnarok or Metal Gear Solid or anything like that, the side quest content fucking sucks. It's awful. And some of the main quests just aren't that interesting. But the ones that hit get every single arm hair on your body standing up on end, and it easily at the highest heights of any game I've played this year. Stayed with me all the time. Can't wait for Leviathan. Spoke about the game earlier on. Easy my top 1. No point in handing it to the rest of you guys. I know how you all feel about it. And Lewis, you got it on download now, so you can share some of that goodness with me.
I will play it later. I will let
Well
you know what
done.
I think of it after I've played it. I'll let you know.
Well done. And so that rounds out our top 5. So what we're going to do is now, through the power of editing, we should go away and collate the scores, and we will come back with our game of the year, as well as our final pieces before we end the show. So we have crunched the numbers, or more accurately, Mr. Philip Hoy, Daddy Phil over there, has cranked the numbers out. He's put them into the number generator, and we have our list for the best games. So the way we're going to do this is I'll go through the point values. It's coming in at last place, but still really well done to even get into this list at all. With 1 point, we got a joint with Expanse and Mini Golf VR. Coming with 2 points, Hi-Fi Rush. 3 points, we got joint scores here between We Were Here, Baldur's Gate, and Armored Core. 4 points, coming in with Starfield. 5 points, Zelda and FF16. Coming in 6 points, Spider-Man 2. 7 points, Dead Space Remake. 9 points, Street Fighter 6. And then ending and getting our game of the year, Resident Evil 4. So Capcom securing the top 2 spots of our list. No real surprises there, lads, is there?
Yeah.
Really well done.
Come on, round of applause, guys.
In
Capcom.
PS We Trust, guys, having a Capcom game in number 1, who would have ever thought? Or number 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Wait,
We're not biased.
Resident Evil 4, the game series that cannot be mentioned, steals it for another game of the year. Seems to be whenever they release a Resident Evil, seems to be up there in contention. And this year is no exception. Resident Evil 4, truly exceptional game. Really, really well done. Audience, for your top 5s of the year, let us know. Write into the email pswetrust@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts and feelings about 2023. Love to hear from you.